So kind of disappointing news out today that Kyle Godwin, the Brumbies and Wallabies inside centre, has decided to take a contract in the Pro 14 for next season. So this is his final season in Super Rugby. If I had to summarise Kyle Godwin's career in the Super Rugby anyway, so the Southern Hemisphere, it would be just kind of expectations not met. So he kind of burst onto the scene in 2012, 2013 as a really young man, like 19, 20. Debuted with the Western Force. Played a handful of games in his first year, and then properly into his rugby in his 2013 season. And even in 2013, they were picking him as a bolter to play the British and Irish Lions for the Wallabies. So yeah, that's how kind of highly regarded he was early on in his career. And I remember, because I was in constant contact, working with an Australian guy at the time, really into his rugby, and he was just saying, have you seen this guy Godwin? He's the man. He's going to be great, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he didn't get that, and I don't even think he got to play the Lions for the Force that year, because the coach tried to focus on the next Super Rugby game and played a B team against the Lions, which was pretty cruel to a lot of the players. 2014, so 2 years after his debut, he gets named in the Wallaby squad, but doesn't get a game. Injury kind of disrupted season, his knee and his shoulder that year. His knees and other bits of his body seem to not cooperate. So, some guys just have that career where it's never a full year without kind of any injuries, and he seems to be one of those guys. Like, you kind of wonder how far he might have gone if he had had a bit more luck in terms of his body holding together. So 2015 for the World Cup, they took Biel, Giddo and Tamua as the kind of inside centres on their team list anyway, so he wasn't in the frame. I don't actually remember if he was injured at that time or not, or whether it was just kind of selection thing. End of 2016, he joined the Brumbies, and that's the year that he made his Wallabies debut. He got his one and only Test cap with the Wallabies in 2016. But like I said, in 2013 they were tipping him, so it took him a really long time to actually put on the jersey. 2017, he got injured towards the end of the season, so missed that quarterfinal. But one man wasn't going to make a difference in that game against the Hurricanes, but still. So yeah, like a lot of nearly moments for Kyle. So 52 caps for the Force, 14 for the Brumbies. So he's at 66 at the moment. He'll finish the season, so he'll probably get to 70. But yeah, I had a look at potentially how many games he could have played, and he probably could be in the 80s by now if he had not had all the injuries he had, like not including his games in the first season, because he only played like 3 in 2012. Like just from 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, he's only played like 60, 63 in that time, and he could have been playing 80 odd. And if the Brumbies, their quarterfinal counts definitely in the 80s. So yeah, but he obviously thinks with the World Cup next year that he's too far down the pecking order. Beale, Hodge, Liliafano at the Brumbies, maybe kind of keeping him out of a job. So he's decided to, these rumours have been flying for a while, but when I watched his pre-season interview with the Brumbies TV guys, obviously he didn't drop any hints to it. He was just saying he was looking forward to the season and everything was going swimmingly. So yeah, just disappointing for Aussie rugby. He's kind of, and it's not just limited to the Aussies, but a getting long list of guys who kind of leave in their 20s or mid 20s anyway. We can kind of understand it when guys leave at 28, 29, even in their 30s. It used to be their 30s, and it seems to be getting progressively younger, but now it is guys in their mid to early 20s. So he's another one. Tamani left when he was 26. Sean McMahon left at 23. Skelton left at 25. James O'Connor left for entirely different reasons, but yeah, it's a long list of guys who have left Aussie rugby. New Zealand's no different. He's kind of like the George Moala, it seems, of Aussie rugby. George Moala kind of came onto the scene with a a hiss and a roar and was going to be the next big thing, and it never really panned out for him. Although Moala probably got his debut quicker, but didn't go on to wear the jersey much. So yeah, just disappointing that he was never really able to crack that level that he was projected to go to. But I mean, it doesn't always happen that way. Guys who playing under 20s or whatever sometimes set the world on fire, and then when they hit top level, this doesn't quite click for them to the same degree. Still a very good player. I mean, you don't get to play 66 Super Rugby games and a Wallabies test without having a bit of chop to you. So yeah, it's just a pity. Like I said, my mate, the Aussie mate, showed me clips of him. There was one particular tackle bust where his legs just seemed impossibly powerful, and yeah, just never got to see it kind of in full flight for the Wallabies. So that part makes me a bit sad. But other than that, be interesting to see how the Brumbies go. Now that they know he's leaving, will they just stick with Hawara and Leali'ifano at 10 and 12? Seems sensible. But, I guess that's up to Dan McKellar. We'll see what he decides to do. What do you guys think about Kyle leaving? Is he kind of, for you as well, the guy who just didn't quite meet the potential, or is it just a case of people hyped him up a bit too early and, kind of not his fault that people saw things that maybe weren't there? Let me know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon.